trauma and mental health.
Trauma and mental health.
Yeah. What is trauma?
Thank you, Peris. Trauma is a situation where one finds him or herself in a very distressing or a very difficult situation that is very disturbing, and at the same time is not able to sort himself out. It is good to know that there are very, very many reasons why one would be in that kind of a situation, or what we are calling difficult situation.
Yeah.
For example,
What are the triggers of somebody who has suffered traumas? What characteristics will they show? So now, how do I come to help this kind of a person? You're very much welcome.
Thank you so much, Dr. Peris Derito. Thank you very for inviting me for this mental health awareness campaign. I really feel part of it.
Thank you.
I am Dr. Grace Moredi, an educational psychologist at the work in Chuka University. And I teach psychology and also do a lot of counseling. Yes.
I'm happy to hear that. So today, our main theme is trauma and mental health.
Trauma and mental health.
Yeah.
Yes.
What is trauma?
Thank you, Peris. Trauma is a situation where one finds him or herself in a very distressing or a very difficult situation that is very disturbing, and at the same time is not able to sort himself out. It's not able to get out of it. So it is something that is really disturbing your mind and you don't know exactly what to do. Or sometimes you may even think you know what to do, but even as you try to do it, it is still making you feel sad, feeling uneasy, feeling unsafe. So it is in itself disturbing situation.
What are some of the causes of trauma?
It is good to know that there are very, very many reasons why one would be in that kind of a situation, or what we are calling difficult situation.
Yeah.
For example, let's say for example you have had an accident has occurred. Gari imeanguka and people have died. It's a shock. That one now can be something that is going to get to be recorded in your mind, and it can come back later that you are now, oh, why did it to happen? How did it happen? Those people died. What is going to happen with them? Now, who is likely to have died? So already it is something that you have recorded in your mind, and then now it recurs and it disturbs you. Doctor, maybe you have heard people talk about post-traumatic stress disorder.
Yes.
Something has happened, unusual happening, like let's say, I have just mentioned accident. It can also be a case like rape. It can also be a case like, let's say, for example, a disaster. Like when you hear there is a fire outbreak, and assume you have a daughter or a son in that kind of a situation, that has to disturb you automatically as long as you are a human being. And that's why when you talk about it, trauma and the mental health, you cannot actually separate the two. Yes.
Very true, very true. When you talk of trauma, I'm thinking of the current situation of this country. Just the other day, we had a lot of Gen Z movement.
Yes.
And I'm imagining myself as with my friends going out there and the police shoot one of us and I'm the one to collect this person. For the first time, I'm seeing a dead person on my arms.
And not only a dead person, but also afraid, or maybe somebody that you know very well. Yes.
So, what is this experience that comes when it comes to trauma? And what is the effect of this person who has seen that traumatic experience later?
First of all, maybe you allow me to tell you that we have different types of trauma. There is where you are the victim. You are the one who has gone through an experience. Say, for example, you are a young mother. You are expecting a child, and then somehow something happens and you miscarry. You know you are the one who is suffering that trauma. That is it can be a chronic trauma because you live remembering that I lost my child. And you can also have trauma as a result of what you see happening to others. Like where you talk, you give an example of the Gen Zs and you imagine somebody is shot dead, and you are there, you are the one to correct the body, and this somebody that you really know. So that one gets back to you in your mind, and it can really be disturbing. So now you'll find that trauma can cut across different experiences.
Yeah.
We may not have a one single answer of the feeling of trauma. It will depend. Maybe what I may be very comfortable in, first of all, addressing is maybe some causes of trauma.
Yeah.
Because we have different categories. For instance, you can have a family trauma. Something that you're experiencing in the family, which is going to disturb you. For example, family conflicts. We have family affairs, like extramarital sex in the family. And the one feels like, this is not what I expected. I really trusted this man. I really trusted this lady when I got married. And now she's doing this, and this is against my expectation, and I don't know what to do.
Oh wow! I never looked at that as trauma.
That it is, because it's something that is very
disturb you. People take infidelity as a normal thing.
No, it's not normal.
Infidelity. We never look at it in form of trauma.
It depends with you. So long as it is something that is going to carry along, so long as it is something you're going to think about after that.
Yes.
What happens, Daktari, is that some people build what we call defense mechanism, a way of working it out.
Very true.
For example, you would say that, yes, my marriage failed, but that was not the only thing. I chose to do something better. I think that.
Or even you assume an environment, you're still in it, but you're assuming an environment regardless of it. Let me just continue.
Exactly. That
you
is
are
it
not
now.
fully healed.
You are not
but
healed.
you're just there.
Given an opportunity to talk about it, given an opportunity to think about it. It could be that even when you are on your own, you go through it. That is, so long as it is disturbing your mind, it is trauma.
So now, can we explain more on how trauma can come to children when it comes to conflict in family?
Wow. And you know, as a lecturer, or also as a counselor, I've interacted with such cases so often. How trauma comes in as a result of conflict, for example, is that the child becomes divided. There is a mother, there is a father. And by then, let me remind you, although I'm not very good in biology, what is there is that when a child is born in a family, she may be more of the father or the mother's side. Isn't that? So when the two conflict, one may be seeking favor from the child, but the child is saying that you are the one who is wrong, daddy is right, or it is daddy who is wrong, mom is right. So already that is stressing enough for this child. I don't know whether you'd be comfortable if I very briefly share an experience of a young man some years back, name withheld, who committed suicide because mom and dad were ever in conflicts. And anytime they were in conflict, they would mention his name. The father would tell the mother that if I see you talk with this boy, I will not pay school fees. And he would tell the boy the same. And the boy felt that he loved the mother so much. So how do I not talk to my mother? So at the end of the day, anytime they talk, they would fight. And he felt the best way to solve this problem is just
finish myself.
Yes. And he did it, and he died actually. That was his experience was traumatizing, courtesy of what is happening in the family. Yes. So when actually, allow me to take this opportunity, when parents conflict, the one who suffers most is the child. Yes. That's why we say don't say everything in the presence of the child. You should not understand. Back to where I was telling you again that we have different causes of trauma. I had mentioned the family. We could also have disaster. I know you even mentioned something like the current issues. What is really happening now? One of the major things that is actually, sorry to say major, but one of the challenges that is in right now is the issue of fire outbreaks, both in schools and even in the families. We have had a fire outbreak in a house, somebody's house, in schools. And needless to tell you, because all this is in the media, you are aware about it. That is a very traumatizing experience. Some of these parents had honored the child. Some had been given responsibility of the child. There is likelihood that there was a debate of when do we take this child? Do we take here or here? And sometimes as parents to even disagree.
Yes.
I love you are given a blessing.
You are the one who has told us to go to that school. Now our child is
And
dead.
I told you.
Why? Why did you choose that school
Yes.
and not this other one that I
Or
had
I
chosen?
knew. Or I knew that this is not a good, it's not a safe place.
Yes.
So it can be very traumatizing. In fact, I even looking at a few examples, because again I said it is in media. It's something that we are reading here and there.
Yeah.
You hear somebody saying that this was my grandchild. So you imagine that the person is taking the responsibility of, number one, I have lost my grandchild. Number two, how do I tell the mother or the father of the child of what happened? How will I handle it?
Yeah.
Number three, what will the community think about me?
Yes.
Will they think that I was careless? So you realize that it can be so traumatizing, and some go to an extent of even committing suicide.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, when you talk about suicide, some of these things are the ones that lead you
To suicide.
yes.
Now, when we look at trauma, in the aspect of this other person, look at the journalist
Yes.
who is always showcasing different experiences in those areas. They are not directly affected,
Yes.
but they showcase those stories to us. What kind of trauma is that comes to them?
We call it a vicarious trauma. Trauma because of a third party. That is, I am being traumatized because of what I have seen. I'm not the one who has been shot, but somebody has been shot in my presence.
Yeah.
I'm not the one who was in the accident, but it has occurred and somebody has died in my presence.
Yeah.
And that a big percentage of those people who go through traumatizing experiences may not necessarily be the ones who have actually experienced the trauma, but it's because they have seen such experiences occurring. Yes, that is why at times these people have also got to go through the process of counseling so that they can get out of it.
Yes.
You don't possess. I don't know. when let's say, for example, because I have seen that you are really looking at the very current things that are happening.
Yeah.
Like that, say for example, like that accident that occurred within the Rakaniti County. There is that bridge moving.
Yes, yeah,
There is an accident that occurred there which killed a team of raiders that had come from somewhere. Actually, that is the area where I come from. So now you are imagining those who died, they died.
Yeah.
But what about the other team that saw them die? Where do you think they are? Those are seriously traumatized.
Yes.
They are not, and the worst of it is when now somebody refuses to forgive him or herself, or to accept that it has happened. I hope you get what I'm saying.
I'm getting you, and I think most of the population also, we are so much unaware
Yes.
that I need to seek help
Yes.
by first seeing that, because we assume, oh, thank God I wasn't in that accident, I didn't die. So now you're there, you're saying, thank Jesus,
Yes.
I did not die.
I did not die. Thank
whole.
Jesus, I was not in that vehicle.
I was not in that.
There are even some who say that, especially the case of accident, that is the vehicle that I was about to get into.
Yes.
Now they suffer trauma that they escaped in Narut. I escaped death in Narut. I was about to get to that vehicle.
Yes.
Then something just came in, and I was taken out, or I was like this, or a friend of mine, whatever the reasoning.
Yeah.
But the idea is, there is a vehicle that I was about to get
Carry
to.
me.
And I really felt bad that it left me. So now it's like you are, instead of saying, thank God that I was not there and leave it there, you carry that in now. Supposing I got in.
Yeah.
Now that becomes a trauma.
trauma.
And how does it become a trauma? Is when the same, now that bad scenario
Experience.
keep on recurring in your mind. It keeps on coming in your mind, and you are not able to just get out of it. That's why we are saying it is trauma, because it is disturbing you. And as at that time, you are actually not very normal.
Yeah.
And I will be discussing with you some of the symptoms
Yes.
or signs that somebody may be going through trauma. And they said there are very many types of trauma. Others are like we had talked about disaster. We gave an example of a fire outbreak or an accident.
Yeah.
Career. You find I experienced a situation where like these young people, when they get to let's say university level,
Yeah.
somebody didn't want Teddy to be, and already identified herself or himself with the career you want to do.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, in the performance, did not qualify to get that particular career. And now the parents or the environment that is surrounding detects that you have to do what you have qualified for. So somebody goes through that, and after he is through with the course, he says that was not mine. I wanted to start mine. That means that through this time, this person was not comfortable.
Yes.
And the time he's saying that I want to do mine, it's already late, and he's feeling I am late, and now it's like I am regretting.
Yeah.
So it can be so traumatizing that to the extent that we have seen even these young people, and I really would want to caution ourselves, both the young and the aged. Please, the answer of challenges in life is not actually committing suicide. That people are there to sit down and discuss with you and help you to go through the process.
Yes.
Because you hear somebody say that I did this which was against my wish, and therefore I am not getting a job, or I want to do what is mine and they are not ready to pay for me, or whatever it is the reason, and therefore I'm not worth living.
Yes, and especially we need to speak to the parents, because we realize that most parents dictate what their children should do. And most of the
It's
time
like
those
you know
parents
yes.
are doing those things because either you did not fulfill your dream
You've said
and
it.
you want to fulfill your dream
You
through
have
your
said
child.
it. You have said it.
Yes, we
Yes.
find a lot of challenges in the university. Convincing someone not to do this, you need to do this course to go to this.
Yes.
And he says, my parents said I
This
should
is
do
what
education, I should do nursing.
Uh,
I think it's a caution for parents to know that
it is.
it can be
And
traumatizing.
you have talked like you are right in my mind to actually bring out what is really happening. We are very sorry because we have different categories of parents also. There are some who are informed, and there are some who depend on the hearsay. There are some who just assume things should take place their own way. And like you have mentioned, and that is the worst of all, is where a parent would want his or her son to achieve what he was not able to achieve.
Yes.
As a parent will say that in my family, I want to produce the four major professionals. I want a doctor, I want a lawyer, I want an engineer, and I want. So it's like you detect to your children what you really want. And you because you are now like the source of all what they need, you might have really to force them and they will take it. But that is not them. I do not want to say that we have lost so many out of that. Because one, they are not comfortable. Two, depending on the nature of the parent, there are some who are very forceful, so they will not be able to say no, and they feel that this is not the life I want them to lead.
Sure.
So that happens, and it is there. That's the issues of education and the career.
Yes.
Trauma.
Yes.
And trauma can also come in our marriages. Apart from the family where I mentioned where we are bringing in the children, we have also the marriages. So when somebody loses a marriage through divorce, or when a loss occurs of a significant other, you have lost a spouse, and this spouse was playing a key role in this family. So much as people say that with the time you heal, the wound is still there. There is that space for the one who has gone. So you'll find that there are some people who are not able to get out of it. And it's sorry to say again, Peris, as I talk to these others that are listening, when loss occurs, and a little is done depending on the one who has lost. There are some people who are able to put a face, but I'm okay, I have accepted. But deep within themselves, they have not.
It's not yet done.
Kindly, when a situation like that one occurs, it is good to go for a therapy, so that you're able to be debriefed and to get out of it. It can traumatize. And when that happens, it also extends to children. Because if, for example, it was a couple, and one has died, the one who has been left may want to wear a very strong face, and because of the children, and also to tell the one that I'm okay. So what happens? You are trying to help the children accept the reality, but you have not healed. So you'll not talk to them fully. You'll not be able to address them fully, and you don't want to take them to a counselor or a therapist because you are feeling we will expose ourselves. So let us keep quiet. So those children already they are seeing you are a fake. And if they are not seeing that, they are fearing. How come that mom or dad is so strong after the loss of my mom
parents.
or my dad.
Yes, and I think most of the people assume after relatives have come, you've been consoled, it's over. And that is where we want to create this awareness. I think also there is that part of most of the people really don't know that they need to seek help. And who do I go to? You assume that the neighbor that came, consoled you, was enough. But really, it wasn't enough.
It wasn't.
Now, how do I detect that this person that has suffered trauma, what are the triggers of somebody who has suffered traumas? What characteristics will they show?
Thank you for that question. In most cases, sometimes people do not even know that they are going through trauma. Although we could have a certain percentage of those who know, but the majority may think they are strong enough to live with that kind of a challenge. So one of the ways is because people tend to have some defense mechanism of surviving the situation. But how can you tell somebody is going through trauma? One, you'll find that this is not going to cut across. It will depend with the individual and also the cause of trauma like that. One of it is that they will tend to be with it. Some will want to isolate or be withdrawn or detached from others. That can tell you that this person was outgoing at first, but these days you want to just stay alone like that. That is one. Two, you'll have some sleep disorder. You are trying to sleep, you cannot sleep. You are awake at night, and in the daytime you are not able to concentrate. You just find yourself asleep. You talk about sleep, change of sleep order. And every other minute you are saying, I was not able to sleep well last night. Why? In fact, my mind, I was wandering all over. I cannot even tell. I cannot even tell what I was thinking about. That is already an indicator. Three, there are these people who are very pessimistic. They see things negatively. Sasa unaniambia nitafute, let's say for example it's a case of divorce. Sasa unaniambia nioe mwingine atakuwa mzuri kushinda yule. What are those factors that are going to make him better than that other one? Now you are telling me that I take my daughter or my son to this other school. Is it any safer than that other one? So every other time the talk is like there is no hope, hopelessness. I think this problem of mine. Am I the only one in it?
No.
So some I can see I'm really answering your question.
I can imagine that situation. So hopeless.
Yes, you feel like I think you had done your best, and therefore whatever somebody else is saying
It's nothing.
it's not anything. Another one is where somebody decides to blame others or blame situations. Like now when you talk about the Gen Zs and the way they are behaving. So now you realize that parent A may blame parent B for his son relating with this other one. They are influencing one another. You are not seeing like your son or your daughter is influencing that other one. You are feeling is one way. So you are blaming. You are saying, well, it's not for so and so coming here, my family would have been in that. Well, it's not for me going there, things would have been better. So they never blame game. You are looking for reasons why things are not okay. So even it is a miscarriage, you wanted to give reasons of what may have really caused. And you stick to it. And remember, it is on the negative. You are saying, well, it's not that my husband is moving out with others, my babyhood. Well, it's not for my mother-in-law who keeps on talking negative about our marriage, my babyhood. So you see, you are now blaming somebody for what has already. Those are some of the symptoms. The other symptoms is that you find somebody complaining every time that I am sick. Ukipata tu na mtu hivi hata nimepimwa BP nikaambiwa iko juu. Last night sikulala vizuri mgongo ilikuwa. Anytime you meet this person, somehow is complaining. I am not feeling well. I am sick. In fact, and they either gain a lot of appetite or lose appetite. It can be extreme. I'm not feeling like eating this food. See smart, see mzuri. It is
even when it's just okay.
Even
but
when
they
it is okay.
Find some reason to say they have some mood swing kind of.
Exactly. You've brought it. Mood swing. You cannot even play it. Such people are very delicate. You even you have to handle yourself to know what do I
They
say?
really want.
What do I say is what I don't annoy. Handle with care. They are like very delicate. They need to be handled with a lot of care because every statement that you say or they hear, it means something to them.
And it can spark anything.
And it, yes. Wow. And then others will be talking a message of no hope. It is better the one who has died. In fact, I would be happy if I was not alive, or if I'm not a member of this particular group. So they are like to them, they admire things that that everybody else would not want to do, and they talk that kind of for what purpose. They just some will also will be a little careless. Even when it comes to dressing, to dress smart for what? Who is marrying me or who is seeing me? Kama ni masomo nisome ya nini? Inipeleke wapi? Hata wale hawajasoma wanafaulu. And they will even give you examples. They'll tell you that so and just soma and is doing very well. So they live that kind of life. And you can be able almost to tell because especially if you knew this person before and now the new lifestyle.
Yeah.
Okay? And I will keep on reminding you that all these things are things that can be talked out.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that is where we are going.
Yes.
That is where we are going to. We've already seen the triggers, the symptoms of this good person you knew, and all of a sudden it's showing this kind of symptoms.
And allow me also to mention this other one because this one was a direct experience. Either talking too much or laughing careless. Mtu anacheka tu, just mention anacheka tu naona hiyo kicheko si ya kawaida. That can also be an expression now.
Don't make me stop laughing.
I'm not talking about you as yours is professional.
Anyway,
yes.
I agree. So now, how do I come to help this kind of a person?
Thank you for that question. You are asking me about maybe trauma therapy. What can we do about trauma?
What can we do about it?
First of all, it is good to create awareness, like what you are doing actually now. Already you are doing it.
Yes.
First of all, congratulations. I wish I was not holding this one. I'll declare for you because already this is part of what you can do. Creating awareness and being aware that this world that we are in has ups and downs.
Yeah.
It's not true that everything will work on your side.
Sure.
And also being aware that you may not necessarily be the only one who is going through difficult times. People go through them. The difference is how you handle them.
Yeah.
Then let's create awareness and also tell people that they are now. Today we are talking about mental health as an issue, and we have seen it is working negative in our lives of our people. All of us are highly vulnerable.
Yeah.
Because anything can trigger.
Can happen.
Yes. Do you know even failing in an exam is enough
because
that.
Very true.
Do you know even our talking careless to our children when they come home, parents there, your son has come home and has declined in performance, and you have been all through praying and working very hard that your son gets marks to the university, but he's declining. Yeah. You know, you can carelessly tell this son that this kind of result don't bring them home, and if this is what you are didn't getting, you can get it elsewhere. Next time if you get this marks, do not come home. Where will they go?
Very true.
I forgot to tell you another cause of trauma, because this one is very current. It's about the issue of kidnapping. Mtoto tu ametoka, the next time you don't know ameenda wapi. Yeah. And the many other things follow after that. That is also becoming very traumatizing today. Yeah. Where you are feeling very unsafe. Yes. Like that. So, one, we create awareness. Two, take up our responsibility. Yeah. Three, acceptance. Accept the situation. Like, for example, when it comes to a case of disaster, or an accident, or an unusual happening that has already taken place, or like that shooting that you are giving on this time when the emergencies were out there, those incidents that were bad, you accept that they actually happened.
Yes, and you saw them.
And you saw, so and that
you
now
are having a problem.
Yes. So you just ask yourself now, what next? Yeah. Like now, yes, death has occurred, very close person of mine, a significant other person has gone. What next? You accept. The reason why you need to accept is so that you're able to think forward.
Yeah.
But if you live there saying no, the reality is that it has happened and it will not be reversed.
Yes.
So where instances are the kind of instances that cannot be reversed, you accept that it has happened. It is not easy.
Yeah.
We talk about accepting and then adapting. When you accept that it has happened, let me give an example. It is a case of a loss or a kidnapping that has taken place to your child. And God is good that you have received your child back.
Yeah.
Instead of living the life of my child had been kidnapped.
Yeah.
That had been kidnapped itself is trauma.
Yes.
So it's like, yes, it ended up. She is here or he is here. I thank God that she is here. It is true that it ended up. But now how do we move on?
Yes.
So you start now thinking about how you can reconnect.
Yeah.
And how you can encourage this person now to be able to live again. And how you can also heal that experience.
Yeah.
And the healing is where it becomes now an issue.
Yeah.
And that's why you need now, like maybe if it is something that is carrying in your mind, just share it out.
Yeah, share it out with the right people.
With the right people.
Yes.
Some will ask me, who are the right people? We have cancers, we have Akina Peris with their programs here. You are such people.
And we actually have those psychologists, all those psychologists that have come on board have given
Yeah,
their
many.
contacts.
Yes,
And they are
and they'll
willing.
also do it.
They are willing to support you.
And I'll also do it. We have religious leaders that you can trust.
Yes.
We have mentors that we can trust.
Very true.
And even in those organizations where we find ourselves in, like let's say, for example, say, Chuka University where I work, we have a department that deals with them.
Yeah.
And we are very open. Actually, don't die with a problem alone.
Yeah.
Whatever you think is too much, somebody else can hear that is too much.
Yes.
You may not even be going for counseling. Just say, I want to share this with somebody.
Yes. That is what we are championing. Open conversations.
Very
Stop
good.
the stigma.
Stop.
It's okay to say, I'm not okay.
Sure.
Yes.
Thank you.
Now, you've brought me, I just have one more thing, then we wind up. There are people who usually say after somebody has died and they are already buried, they are seeing them in their dreams. Where does this category, where do we place them?
I would say that this is chronic trauma. Why? It is something that has happened and it keeps on recurring in your mind. It keeps on recurring until it gets to a point where it is like life itself. Some connect them with spiritual matters.
Yeah.
They talk about the spirits of the dead coming, visiting me. You see, all this, I don't want to venture into that line of spiritual matters, but it is also there. But what happens is that your mind is worked up. Actually, it is actually a mental problem because it's like everything else has been got out of your mind. This is all what you are thinking about.
Yes.
So when you go to sleep, that picture comes, and already your mind is so prepared
for it.
So even when you are going to sleep, sometimes you will say, "No, I'm going to sleep, and I know so and so may visit me at night." So by the way, sometimes in dream is a mental state. It's about what experiences you have gone through, or a fashion, or something that you have overheard happening like that. So it becomes so much part of you. One way of solving all this again is try to avoid, because you asked me about how you overcome this trauma, sometimes you try to avoid situations, people, objects, or conversations that trigger what had happened. So if I know that anytime I see Peris, I must remember a bad incident that occurred, I will try to avoid Peris. Okay? Remember, acceptance is still there.
Yes.
One way may not be enough,
Yes.
but at least you have to work it out. You try to avoid that. Then the other way is try to keep yourself busy. Look for what else you can do. Some have turned into even academics. Uingie class, usome, unjikute uko at very high levels. Cut yourself, my broken family, or my whatever is there that occurred, the loss that occurred. You just channel your energy to a certain direction. That is about ensuring that you have an alternative of what else you can do that you like most, so that it occupies your mind and slowly cleans up other trauma until when you are reminded. Let me say viewers, for instance, let me use a very simple example. There are some things that happen in our lives we may not forget, but they may not necessarily have to affect us on a daily basis.
Yes.
If you look at my hand, this hand of mine like this, I have a scar here. I have a scar here. That scar was bad when I was very, very young, when I was actually in the lower classes. Now, this scar is here. Anytime I see it, I remember I was bad.
Yeah.
But this scar has never hindered me from doing anything.
Yes.
I am able to do everything. My hand is okay. I am able to move on. But at least it's a scar.
Very true.
It can have a limitation, because if there was anything to be given and those who have scars are eliminated, yes, I can. But it's a small percentage out of the very many other things that I can do.
Yeah.
So when that which is causing you trauma comes your way, one, what else can you do to occupy your mind more than just concentrating on this?
Yeah.
Then you do exercise. I like that. Do exercise. Just walk, run, jump a little, relax a bit, and supporting groups. Sometimes be with other people. Don't isolate. Be with other people. You might realize that somebody may even be going through a worse situation than you.
Wow, wow, wow. That was a really nice session with Dr.
Thank
Grace Moridi. And I believe you have a parting shout for them.
Yes. Thank you very much. First of all, I give you my contact number at Chuka University. I don't know whether you get my number, but it is 0728 66 9291.
Kindly repeat.
0728 66 9291. I do counseling one-on-one, especially on the youth and the married people. And I want to tell all of us that are listening to us that trauma is something that can really cost your life if you are not careful about it. And because we have shared much about it, and we may not be able to avoid it because it's something that we were not expecting, it is important when you find yourself in a situation that is disturbing and causing you to feel unhealthy, especially in your mental state, kindly make some consultation. And Grace is here and ready to listen, together with many others, including our Dr. Peris, in a program, Take Me Out. I am happy to be associated.
Thank you so much.
That
was our show today. You've had it all. Be positive, work with positive-minded people, and come out. We are TakeMe-OutAdventures. We'll take you out for hiking, for exercise, for team building, all that. We organize groups for that kind of adventure. So we are really grateful for watching with us. Kindly like and subscribe. See you in the next show.
Thank you.